second grade on this lovely Thursday. So for math today, we are going to continue what we're doing yesterday, but we are working our way up to the next level. So let's remind ourselves of our learning target. It says for math, I can change the unit form of a 3-digit number to show the value multiple ways. So this is the same learning target we were working with yesterday. Yesterday we were working with our chart and showing those awesome pictures. Today we're going to be working with our chart again, but eventually move ourselves up to the level where we can name the change in the unit form of a number without using a picture, just using our place value and bundling knowledge. And doing this different uniform and showing a number in different uniform talks about how the value of a number, how much the number is worth, can be shown in different ways. No matter what group of hundreds, tens, and ones you have, they can still equal the same 3-digit number if you mix up how much is in each group. So that's what we're continuing to practice today, but eventually working towards where we can just name that unit change without using a picture. So before we get started, we have to remind ourselves of this important knowledge, our unbundling knowledge. Taking one of a bigger unit and turning it into how many of a smaller unit. Let's see. 110 equals how many ones, second grade? 110 equals 10 ones, exactly. One of a bigger unit equals 10 of a smaller unit. So what about 100? 100 is the same as how many tens? 10 tens. They are the exact same thing. One of a bigger unit, hundreds, is equal to 10 of a smaller unit, the tens. So these two equations, these two understandings of bundling are what we are going to use to keep it up with our knowledge today. So second grade, yesterday you had to draw a worksheet to work along with me that looked like this. And I need you to do the same thing today. It's going to look just like the one you drew yesterday with the two charts next to each other with a place that has hundreds, tens, and ones. So I want you to draw the exact same thing for me. Remember, it can be in your notebook on a whiteboard. But I want you to draw the exact same thing to be ready to keep going on our awesome work. So I want you to pause the video right now, draw your nice 2 place value charts, and then come back to get started. Okay, I need you to pause. So you're back, which means you have 2 nice place value charts side by side as you're ready to go. So second grade, the first number we're going to work with is the number 18, the number 18. Can we go ahead and draw this number? So second grade, with the number 18, how many ones are there? How many ones? There are 8 ones, of course. 8 ones. Let's go ahead and draw 8 ones together. Remember in that 10 frame, I've got 5 and 3. 5 and 3 to show that I have 8 ones altogether. Okay, second grade, how many tens are in 18? How many tens? 1. There is 1 10. So let's go ahead and draw 1 10. Good job! That was nice and quick since you all are so skilled. Okay, second grade. So showing 18, one way we could represent the value is 110 and 8 ones. But what if we wanted to change the tens for ones? Instead, we wanted to show 18 in just ones. So we're going to take this 10 and change it into a group of ones, what would we do? 110 is equal to how many ones? 10 ones. 110 is equal to 10 ones. So let's go ahead and use this knowledge. But second grade, how many ones do we have already? We're starting with how many ones? 8 ones. So we still need to use those 8 ones. Can you start and show 8 ones? 5 and 3. So we still have these 8 ones. We're just adding the value of the 110. We're adding to the amount of ones we already have. So again, if we're changing this 110 to ones, how many ones are we going to add? 10 more ones. So I want you to add 10 ones to what you already have. That means you're just going to start adding right away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We now have 8 and the 10 ones we just added that came from our 110. So second grade, all together, what is this new unit form? How many ones equal 18? Let's see. 5, 10, 15, 18. 18 ones equal the number 18 as well. These two drawings equal the exact same thing. We just have different groups of our 10s and 1s. So this is what we were working with yesterday, drawing out this change. Right now, we're going to work to see if we can challenge ourselves to make this change in our head. So I want you to erase whatever you've got and get out another piece of paper or a whiteboard where you can write your answer this time. So I want us to reset and check out a new challenge. Okay, you're back. You have your chart to the side right now. We're taking a pause with our chart. And you just have a new whiteboard or something else to write with. So charts on the side, you've got a new piece of paper or a whiteboard. Because this is what we're looking at second grade. It's now our job today to be able to take a number and represent it in two different unit forms without drawing, because we're going to see it in our head. So we're working with 315. 315. What is the unit form of 315? How many ones are there, second grade? How many ones in 315? There are 5 ones, exactly. There's 5 ones. How many 10s are there? How many 10s in this number? 1. There's just 1 10. What about hundreds? How many hundreds are there? 3. There are 3 hundreds in this number. So if we were to show the value of 315, one way we could do that is by showing 3 hundreds, 1 10, and 5 ones. But that's not the only way. Our challenge right now is to change 10s to 1s. So we're going to take our 10s and change them into a group of 1s to show a different way we can represent 315. But for second grade, we got to remind ourselves, 1 10 is equal to how many 1s? 1 10 is a group of how many 1s? The same as 10 1s. It's the same as 10 1s. So if we're going to take this 1 10, we need to change it to an entire group of 10 1s for it to equal the same thing. But we have to add these what we already have. How many ones do we already have? 5. We already have 5 ones. So we need to take all the value of this 10 and add it to what we already have. So my friends, if we are going to take 10 ones and add them to 5 ones, how many would we get? 10 plus 5 is? It's 15. We would have 15 ones by changing this one 10 for an entire group of 10 ones. What do we still got? How many hundreds? Did we mess with the hundreds? No, we kept them the same, and we still have 3 hundreds. So awesome, people. This is our goal today, to be able to think about these pictures we've been working with and produce our answers just in writing on our own. So since we knew that 110 was the same as 10 ones, we were just able to quickly add in our head 10 plus the 5 ones we already had equaled a group of 15 ones. So a second way we could show the value of 315 would be to have 3 hundreds and a group of 15 ones. It would look different, but both of these ways we would get 315. So this is just our first try doing this. So let's all reset our writing, but before we get there, we have to give ourselves a well-deserved break. So come on, stand up for me, and you know what time it is. So second grade, which of these 2 options do you prefer? Do you like to wear more? A hooded sweatshirt, so a sweatshirt that's got a hood. If so, you're going to do 5 pencil jumps. Or do you prefer to wear a sweater, something that doesn't have a hood? If so, you're going to do 5 bunny hops. So what would you pick? A hooded sweatshirt or a sweater? What's your choice? I love sweaters, so I'm going to do 5 bunny hops. Are you ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good job, nice and small. So come on, sit back down, and you're putting your chart to the side and bringing out any other writing tool you have. So your chart is now to the side, it's totally at rest, and we're trying this challenge just in our heads. Okay, we've got a brand new number, 429. In 429, we can show it one way, with hundreds, tens, and ones. So, tell me, second grade, in 429, how many ones are there? How many ones? There are 9 ones, of course. How many tens? How many tens? There are 2 tens. And how many hundreds? 4 hundreds. Good job. So one way we could show 429 is if we were having 4 hundreds, 2 tens, and 9 ones. But what if we wanted to switch it up? And now we're going to change hundreds to tens. We're going to take our 400s and instead show them as tens. So what would we end up with then? Before we can change this 400s, we have to think about just 100. 100 is how many tens? 1 of a bigger unit equals how many of a smaller unit? 10 tens. 100 equals 10 tens. If we know this is true, what about 400s? 400s is how many tens? How could we figure that out? If we know 100 is a group of 10, we can count by 10 4 only 4 fingers for each 100. These are our 400s. For each 100, we're going to count them as a group of 10. Here we go. 10, 20, 30, 40. So 400s is the same as 40 tenths, because for each 100, there was 1 10. And 4 of those is 40 tens altogether. So we know that 400s equal 40 tenths. But if we're going to add it to our tens, how many do we already have? We have how many tens to start with? 2 tens. We already have 2 tens. These 2 tens are important for us to add our value. We're taking everything from the hundreds place and adding it to what we have in the tens. So second grade, 40 plus 2 equals how many? 40 plus 2 is 42 tens. These 400s added to the tens place would come out to a group of 42 tens. So many. But what about the ones place? How many ones do we still have? 9 ones. We didn't mess with our 9 ones. So what is a second way we could show 429? In a group of 42 tens and 9 ones. These 2 unit forms get us the same value. It doesn't matter as long as we know that 1 of a bigger unit equals 10 of a smaller unit. Okay, awesome people. You've been doing a great job, and I've got one last challenge for us. We're going to try another problem, so I want you to erase whatever you got and be ready for our last challenge. Okay, are you ready? Last but not least, we are working with 570. 570. So, let me hear it. How many ones are in 570? How many ones? And there's no ones. How many tens? How many tens are there? 7 tens. Good job. Hundreds? How many hundreds are there? There's 500s. Exactly. Good job. So if we broke apart 570, we could show the value in groups of 500s, 7 tens, and 0 ones. But that's not the only way. If we want to show 570 a second way, we could change tens to ones. We're going to take our 7 tens and now show it as a group of ones instead. So if we have a group of 7 tens, we first got to remember 1 10 equals how many ones? 1 10 equals, of course, 10 ones. 10 ones. But we have a whole group of 7 tens. How can we figure out how much is 7 tens? What could we do? What's an idea? 7 tens is how many ones? We can count by 10. If we have 7 fingers up and we're thinking that each finger is a 10, when we count by tens, it will be like we're counting 10 ones for every finger, for each of these 7 tens. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's see, how many do we got? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. These 7 tens is equal to how many ones? We just counted? 70 ones. Taking our 7 tens, breaking them back into their smaller units, would get us an entire group of 70 ones. What about hundreds? How many hundreds do we still have? 5 hundreds. That didn't change. So second grade, what is another way we could show the value of 570? With 5 hundreds and 7 ones. And how were we able to figure that out? How did we know that this was correct? It was equal. Because we knew 1 10 equaled 10 ones, therefore 7 tens equals 70 ones. Knowing this knowledge, we can do so much and explain how so much more math works. That's why this equation is so important. Okay, second grade, you are now going to try your own set of these changing unit forms. You're going to try to do it just like we've been practicing, where you're thinking about all this change and knowledge in your head. So I'm going to show you the worksheet and explain how you are going to show me what you know. Okay, let's check out your next worksheet of the week. So second grade, this is your Thursday task of changing unit form. So you have 3 problems I need you to complete where you're showing the value of a number 2 different ways. Number 1, you're working with the number 45. And number 2, you're working with the number 217. In both of these numbers, you're going to show the number in nice, simple groups, but then you're going to change the tens to 1. So in 45, you're going to change the tens to ones and figure out what group you would have. In 217, you're going to change your tens for ones and figure out your new unit form. So for 1 and 2, your task is to take these numbers and change tens to ones, just like we've been practicing. But for number 3, in 309, you're going to do something a little bit different. For number 3, you're going to change hundreds to tens. So you're going to take the hundreds and change them for the tens and figure out what is another way to show 309. So for 1 and 2, you're changing tens to ones, but for 3, you're changing hundreds to tens. I want you to pay extra close attention to that difference. So you're going to complete this sheet for me, second grade. I challenge you to do it all in your head using your knowledge that 1 of a bigger unit equals 10 of a smaller unit. If you're getting stuck, use your place value chart to help you, but that's only if you're stuck. I really want you to try it first in your head. Okay, awesome people. You've been doing a great job with these worksheets all week, so I can't wait to see your knowledge on Thursday. So, here we go, and good luck.